Okay.
All right, everybody who's with us as we enter episode 4 of Into the Splinterverse. It's good to see you. As you can see, I got my buddy Baby Omega here and a special guest that he's going to introduce as he's the one who booked him. And hopefully today will be a fun discussion with an extra person adding some points that we might forget. Go ahead, Baby Omega.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Bebe Omega, and I'm co-hosting the show with Stevie. And we decided that in our show, every now and then, we're going to bring some awesome people so we can talk with them. And one of the main figures behind Team PH, Team Philippines, actually, as far as I know, the founder of the Team PH movement, uh, the man himself, MangoMayhem. Hello, Mango. You wanna talk? You wanna tell people some stuff about you and Team
Sure. Hey,
PH?
sure, will do. Thank you very much. Hey guys, my IGN is Mango Mayhem. I'm the co-founder of Team Philippines. So we're a little bit of a Filipino community-based movement. And hopefully we're going to make some waves in Splinterlands. We love to play the game. Me personally, I'm really focused on Splinterlands only, seeing as this is my first play to earn crypto game, and I know we're generally just trying to have Filipinos hold assets, man, and play the game, and at the same time eradicate those barriers of entry. So, which we know there's quite a few right now.
Yeah, I can
Actually,
understand that. And there's some new ones that are showing up that are somewhat controversial. And I know that the staking SPS thing is looked at by some as, yay, we need it. And I'm kind of one of those people, but I also understand there's a frustration to it. We have Lozana in the house, and he proved for me. I got a new little thing working. I don't know if you, I know you guys might not be watching, but I can put comments on the screen now. So I'm working on that live game. So that's
oh,
kind of cool.
nice.
He also confirmed
Mango.
for us the audio's good, so at least they'll be able to hear us all. And, overall, I would just say, I'm going to let you, Mango, is there anything you want to lead off with or talk about? Unfortunately, I missed the community town hall today. Was there anything spicy? If you caught it, or Baby maybe could fill us in, or just any pressing issues that you want to bring? Because, we talk all the time. I don't get to talk with you very much.
Yeah, no, I
Actually,
mean, I think
so,
in terms of Splinterlands in general, I mean, the town square was okay. I mean, I thought it was pretty much similar to some of the older AMAs that I first joined. There's more chit chat. The stuff that I really took away is, the plans for land, soulbound cards on land. I think everything like that needs to cost. Otherwise it's really not going to help the ecosystem. For me personally, my flavor is more to do with the rank battles and when the staking process is going to come into play. Secondly, if the situation with the bots, me personally, I don't really care if there's bots or not in the actual game. I think it's great. um, you learn how to play against algorithms and the bots, and it kind of makes you better as a gamer. I am personally against battle helpers. I think if you're going to play the game, you might as well play it properly. So I mean, and a lot of the Filipino players, they can't really afford bots, so they don't bot. They just play numerous accounts. Some of the top players are playing like 6 or 7 accounts at the same time. So I don't know. Bot helpers for me is a big no-no. Bots, I don't mind, just not in tournaments and stuff like that. I think that should be like a bot-free zone. But yeah, mostly from a team perspective, Team PH perspective, we are accumulating SPS, we are accumulating land plots, we are pushing out rented decks. We've come off Nifty Arcade because there's a lot of problems with Nifty. Although we were one of the pioneers that actually joined Nifty in the first place, we found that some of our players, getting banned for not sending chaos packs, it can get a little bit frustrating. And secondly, it takes a lot of time of our key members. So what we've done now is we are literally renting them. We put 5 accounts on rental, and then the rest we've rented the actual cards on Peak Monsters. Yeah, and that's pretty much what we're doing right now. Really, it's the accumulation of SPS that's a big concern. We want to make sure that we can, allocate our team with, the appropriate what they need to earn the reward. Me personally, I'm accumulating my own, so I'm pushing for Champion One, so 413,000 SPS, which is a little bit of big number when SPS wasn't really a main focus. Actually, the main focus for me personally was to get my cards up to date. So I've maxed out. I was fortunate. I could max out my Chaos and the Rift Watches and pick up some key Untamed cards. But I know for others it's a big stress, especially those that play within TPH.
Yeah, yeah. And just before we get into that more, I just want to say hi to Birds, Bees, and Trees, who's here, and Jetto, who came in saying, "What's up? What's up to you?" You made a lot of good points. You went a lot of areas. I'll go first, and then if you want to touch after Baby Omega, hopefully that's okay. I would say I have. I understand what you say when you think where you say like you don't mind bots so much. They add extra players, they add match liquidity. If you're a good player, and I know like I'm not that good anymore because my personal life hasn't given me as much time to play as it used to when I was working from home, and so my skills have fallen off. But I remember being able to just learn how to beat the bots. You learn those best lineups. You could beat them all day, especially if they were bots running cheap cards. It was a bit of a joke. They became almost like free wins, and I could see how people could start to like that. The pushback I have about it and why I want them banned so bad from Modern to give us our area with no bots is because while I can do that, and I think you can do that, and you probably know a lot of people that can do that, not everybody can. And some people come in, they get super beat down by the bots in Bronze because it's frustrating because level 1 cards can beat you even if you have level 2 cards and made a bigger investment in Bronze very easily if they play the right lineup and you don't. And they are usually at that level purely leeching out rewards one of two ways. And I brought this up to Baby Omega when nobody understands why people run those level 1 bots that don't earn any rewards but run perfect teams and still beat you sometimes. It's because that is being run by somebody who's also running a silver account or a bronze account with good cards earning rewards, and they want you to earn less so they can earn more. Because the more they beat you, the less SPS you get, and the more they will get on their accounts that win. And so it becomes a system where the guys that have a lot can push down everybody else and put them in a situation where they're extracting a lot. They're pretty much nothing but extractors at every single level. And the guys who do it at scale. And that has hurt the game immensely, especially because it gave us we thought there was less people here. I mean, more people here than there were, which led to Chaos Legion being too big of a release, which really hurt a lot of people. You look at people like me who put over $30,000 into that pre-sale. I mean, I should be irate almost at how much that has gone down in value. Sure, I got a Dr. Blight, but oh boy, that those cards did not hold value at all. And a lot of that is from the botting ecosystem and how many people came in here and botted this game super hard when DEC was going way over peg, and it messed the market up. And if we had a game without them, my opinion is I could go to you and your friends and be like, look, you can come play this game. You can fight just with people like you. You all of you are going to be earning. There's not going to be one bot in it. And it's going to be your skill that depends on how much you're going to earn. And you're going to be able to play a really game of skill against other people to earn real money. It's an easier sell. It's a harder sell when they go, wait, what about all those AIs I'm going to have to fight? And then I go like, well, okay, now you're going to have to invest a lot into cards, and you're probably going to have to use a battle helper, and you probably are going to have to use Archmage or Xbot, and that's when I can't even make the argument anymore. That's where I get lost. I can't tell somebody, come play this game honestly. I can tell you to invest in the cards and run a bot and collect things for the next bull run. I could tell you that. If you got a decent account, come buy a silver account, buy an Xbot token, run that thing in the background, never touch the game again, come back the next bull run, you might end up with a big bag. But I can't tell you to come play because you're just going to get frustrated and picked on.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I talked a lot. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Just do you notice how we try to, like we said, this time we're not going to talk about bots because last time
He
the show
started it.
from
He
from
started
one
it.
from 1 hour
My fault. I
went,
take the blame.
yeah, from 1 hour went to 2.5. But yeah, I mean, we've discussed it, Mango, and I get your point, and I'm just with you, like on the same page. Battle helpers, especially in tournaments and bros, it's a big no. But just there is at least none that I can think, and I don't know if anybody can think of a way to stop a battle helper, but I think yeah, I also am on the opinion that that's a bigger problem than the bots themselves. But anyways, soon we'll be having um, a way, like the team will take away the bots from modern. Today in the community, in the town square, they said that their effort won't be half-assed, so they're trying to make it a good effort. Which Steve were talking last show that you were saying if they don't do proper effort, I'm out or something on along those lines. But I actually want to take like to um, go ahead with us having Mango on the show, and I have listened to the People's Guild when they have him as a guest, and I have heard some of the stories, but there is one that is close and near to my heart, and I know he's modest enough not to mention it if not asked. That's why I'll put him on the hot chair. So he has an initiative for his Philippines community that supports all the people that post on Hive. But instead of me talking about it, I would guess since he's here, it's better to give him the microphone so he can tell about it.
Yeah, sure. So you're talking about the Team Philippines curation account. So one of the initiatives that we launched, our first initiatives were really based towards the game, towards getting assets into people's hands so that they could play, and that was really spearheaded through Nifty Arcade. But in terms of the curation account, I actually was introduced to Hive, to the Hive and to Peak D in specific, by Azicon. So Azicon is a big inspiration to me as an individual because he's real, and he says what he wants to say, and he does it well. And you know what, he's got the assets and he's got everything to back it up. You can't really turn around and say, well, Azicon, you can't say nothing because technically he has a very big influence in the game. He's a very big stakeholder. Okay, so for me personally, when I was introduced to Peak, I wrote a few articles on there before. I think it was something to do with the first live tournament we did in Mango Lounge, and in Mango Lounge is my bar. So if you guys aren't aware, but we did a live event that was a couple of years ago, back when I first started Spinland. So and we generated around 50 people. We did live tournaments on the screen, and I wrote about it, and quite a lot of people like upvoted it. I didn't really know what the value was back then. So now it's an amazing way for people to passively earn, and yeah. So I really got into Peak D. I started writing articles pretty much every couple of days. Whenever I had time, if there was something to do with initiatives that we're putting out, or just a great battle I had, or something that was exciting, in Spinlands and stuff like that, I started to find out about social media. Actually, I watched a couple of streams from Steve, and then Steve he did one regarding setting up like the front pages of a Peaked article or something like that, and it kind of inspired me because I asked some questions on his stream, and he filled me in with some details, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, I'll go ahead and take this across. And we discussed it amongst the board, and we set up a team curation account, which literally goes around, teaching people how to write articles. So not everyone's upvoted. It depends on the quality of the content. I mean, if you try to put a meme, and I will write a response saying trash, or dude, you need to write some kind of content or something, and we'll upvote. And what's happened is, from about 3 Filipinos writing articles, we now have about 25 Filipinos writing articles on a pretty much on a weekly basis. So it's not just a social media one that they're doing. It's also the, they're going into different formats like HH curation. I'm not sure if you guys know about it. Pimp and TH Gaming. So we've literally gone out, explored a different way to make passive income. So for our people, and at the same time, ensure that, whatever they're making is not being extracted, and that it's being reinvested, put back into either Splinlands or into the Hive ecosystem. We do a lot of stuff, man. We're just we're really big on trying to play a part and also, be reconsidered as value extractors. Because one of the biggest things that I heard was, oh, Filipinos are big value extractors. Well, you know what? I think the biggest value extractors are different, and they're not just Filipinos. I think Filipinos were in the limelight at that time. So right now, our vision is to make sure that, our community goes up, and also adds value to whatever we do. And that's what Team Philippines stands up for, And, we've got a couple of big investors that are literally all for the positive vibes of what Team Philippines is pushing out. Curation account, I run the curation account. I literally upvote 10 articles a day. So I do 5 in the morning and 5 in the evening. I write comments. I go through every single one of them. We also have a curation trail, so people can obviously delegate power to us. We're boasting I think it's about 41 cents right now, which is, it's quite valuable. And you yourself, baby, you delegated it. We don't push for delegations. People just delegate to us because I think what we stand for is something pretty much, it's real. We're helping people, man, and this is such a great forum to help people. I do a lot of community service and stuff like that back here in the Philippines. I do feedings and stuff like that. But this way is so much better. It's something I enjoy, and I'm still able to help people. And I think that's what we try to really communicate out. And curation is a big thing for us right now, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I know that my community appreciate it, and they're also reaping the rewards. And they're becoming more productive and more active at the same time. So, that's just a win-win in my eyes.
Is Level Up still good on his offer that whoever delegates something to the creation account, he's matching it 1-to-1?
Do you know what? Level Up did that in the beginning. So we ran a promo for that. He did that. But you know what? We got a massive delegation of, 20,000 HP from one guy. So, I don't want to say anymore, but I don't want to give names just in case they didn't really want to, know about it. But the minute they found out about Team Philippines and what we're all about, and pretty much interacted with some of us, I would like to say that we're real. We're genuine people. We're not trying to farm, money out of the ecosystem. It's just not what we're about. So, we've had some big, donations, and Level Up is one of them. I'm another one of them. I like to share the blessings and stuff like that. But yeah, we had a guy that just dropped 20K. So it was such a big, it was such a big blessing for us and for our community. So yeah.
Because I was going to use it like in case somebody hates Level Up, they can just donate to the creation account, so he has to match it. But I mean, I guess if it's no longer on, then
yeah.
Yeah.
Level Up is land. Land is all that Level Up thinks about and dreams about. It's dreams and eats. He just eats land. So I actually run the curation account because I'm fond of writing, and I'm fond of onboarding and stuff like that. So we literally go to where we best fit, I guess, and then we also empower some of our team members to assist and they get rewarded for their assistance.
It's really good to hear you guys are doing that, because the Hive blockchain gets ignored sometimes in the story of Splinterlands. People don't quite understand that the game never would have launched if we couldn't build that community that got built on early on. If you didn't have big holders upvoting, like the Splinterlands votes got a lot of big votes in the beginning because there was only a few thousand players, and Aggie and Matt were still big voices here. And I saw how this could be used to reward people for being interactive, but also it could allow creators to earn at a level that is not gate kept as much, and you don't need quite as much. Because I can tell you, I earn way more posting on Hive than I do on my YouTube channel, even at the height of my YouTube channel, because of like you have to get extremely viral here to succeed and make money. Whereas if on Hive, if you can get together a core group of maybe 100 people, which is way less than that one time the 4,000 people I had watching me on a regular basis, if they're all willing to reinvest into the platform, grow their accounts together, and push, it just becomes a circle of everyone kind of supporting each other, working with each other. It's something I've tried to tell people to do. Like I used to always get bugs. So many people would say I have no funds, no funds, no funds when they would watch my videos to get into the game and want me to give them money. But if I said go do a post and the community will give you money, they wouldn't do it. And it was like, if you won't put in that much effort, I don't know how much more I can help you. And like on my channel for a long time, and I know some of the guys in my Discord are going to call me out because I miss their posts occasionally. I'm just truly really busy right now in my personal life, but I'm a tip you curator, so I can give out like $1 and like it's like $1.40 votes a day. It's nothing huge, but it's a vote. That's not nothing. And forever I was saying, hey, come share post in my Discord, and if it's quality, I'll give you the vote. And it took me forever to get people to join and post stuff. And then even now, some of the stuff they give me is, like you said, it's not great. It's really short, and I'll give them my vote, but then I'm not going to give them the tip you vote because I can lose that status if I give that away to bad content. So it's good to hear you doing that. It is a lot of work, so I hope they appreciate you for doing all of that and supporting them. But it's a great move because we're still in the bottom of a bear, kind of, and we're just starting to turn around. And Hive's a big enough token that when it'll rise when other things rise. And you want to see things get kind of wild around here. Wait till I have a feeling you're going to see about $1.50, $2 Hive. And then those 40-cent votes aren't going to be 40 cents votes anymore. They're going to be a few bucks, and accounts that used to be pretty small are going to start, instead of getting a $3 post, you're going to get 12s and 15s and 20s, and those hundreds are going to be $300 or $400. So it's going to get it. I think things are going to get frothy here when we get to that next bull run.
And I have been fascinated, or like one of my favorite saying was, give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish, feed him for life. So I think that's exactly what Team Philippines is doing. And when I heard about it in the People's Guild, I was like, yeah, that's a cause I can go for. And I took my Tipu power and gave it to the curation account, and also anybody in chat that has extra Hive power, especially if you guys are not active on the Hive blockchain and you're not voting, even if you are, I mean, donating to a good cause like that, you probably even get something in return since there is a curation trail, so you have some passive income on that Hive power that you delegate as well. So I encourage you guys, if you want to go behind a good cause, that will be a chance.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'm currently delegating to the one that upvotes Splinterlands content, and I follow their curation trail to kind of help support the community that's playing the game. But, I imagine there's some crossover within your community and that community, but you guys probably go outside of it too, because I know Hive is bigger than Splinterlands. There's all kinds of different areas. Like when I had more time, I used to do the writing contest on the people who do like the writing stuff. There's photography people. There's all kinds of different things on the Hive blockchain besides just Splinterlands.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, the Hive, I mean, I've been exploring it probably the most out of the original board, but there's so many things that you can do. I mean, I like to write poetry, for example, and there's a place that you can write poetry. Splinterlands is obviously a big thing, but then other things like Pin Maple that are doing travel stuff. So whenever I go to a nice destination, I want to write a quick post about something, and then you put it on there. So also there's also curation tribes. So other tribes that I'm now associated with. One of them is called the Alliance, which is a group of OGs that are literally, they help people, man. And it's great to find people like that. There's a whole process of actually becoming part of the Alliance. But once you do, I mean, every time you write a post and you tag the Alliance, you just get numerous votes. And you know what? Some of these guys, they read your post. They really do read your post, and they comment and they feel what you're feeling. It doesn't need to be, oh yeah, this was a fantastic game I played. No, there's other things. And we always power up. So we actually hold an event on our Discord for I think it's monthly power up. So right now we want to help, support the power up for Hive as well. So every I think it's first of the month they do a power up on Hive. We do a little Discord voice meetup, and we literally all power up. So we don't want to be known as that value extractors. We want to be known as people that are giving back. And as Azikon called us, he said we're a beacon of light for the for the ecosystem. And that for me that really sticks with me, and it resonates with me, because when someone says that, oh, what you're doing, you're a beacon of light, then, I don't want to do anything that's going to take that away. I want people to always assume or believe that, we're doing things in the right manner. We've got integrity. So, and I'm lucky that the guys with me in this journey, who all happen to live where I live in Colbiog, so we see each other and meet up. They're two American guys. So I've got Level Up Life and I've got Burnmin. And these guys, they got some dry powder. And we all go in there and we match each other. We're like, yeah, dude, we're gonna buy SPS today. Okay, fuck it. We're gonna go and get some SPS, and that's what we just go and do, So and yeah, well, no, we don't. We just pump. We don't dump. That's the thing. We pump.
I'm joking.
Then, no, but honestly, I just put it into liquidity pool, because you know what, LP pools are so underrated. And I know that people are going to say impermanent loss. That's if you want to take it out. We don't want to take it out. We'll just reap the passive income. Level Up calls it funny money. We just reap the funny money. And I know Steven knows about funny money, because he does that with a lot of stuff as well. Because he mentioned that, using passively the income that he gets from all these different places and putting it into somewhere that you want to put it into, So ours just happens to be Splinterland. So but yeah, we're in that place, man. We're in a zone. We're just pulling it. We're just really going. We're at the moment, like I said, we're accumulating staked SPS on our main account, and our cards are being rented out to accumulate DEC. We've got tournaments coming out, which every month now. So feel free to join that, or if you want to, if you want some competition, there's going to be. We've decided to make them open tournaments so that more people can come and join. And we give away Pimp tokens, Team PH tokens, TH Gaming tokens, and crypto shots. I don't know if anyone knows about crypto shots, but they're also supporting Team PH. So it's a great way to just passively earn. And if one of those tokens goes to Moon, then you're lucky. If not, well, you're still playing a decent game and you're still earning passively. So that's the way we treat it.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if any of the secondary Hive tokens besides Hive can really catch on and go. Because it's possible if Hive, gets more popular, the token goes up in value. And there's also, I don't keep up to dates with everything going on in the Hive ecosystem. I know there's, I've heard some rumors about them changing the way certain things work on the ecosystem. And overall, I just hope it's always somewhere that we can post and earn and interact with each other. But that those secondary tokens are why I know, even if they change the way some of the front end stuff works on for Hive, those would become more of a star, which is why I earn a lot of those. I've gotten a lot of those over the time. I don't sell them. I just stake them and let them build up on the account to see what's going to happen. So, yeah.
So you have a lot of pizza tokens.
No, I actually don't have that much pizza, because people only give it to you in small amounts, and it's not one you earn. But I have a lot of the TH1, a lot of the
Leo.
The level, yeah, I've got level up tokens. I've got some of the other ones that I've earned over time, and
the Leo Finance probably.
Before that, there was a battle token for a long time that had to do with Splinterlands and battling, but that never really caught on. But it was a tag, and I know we all earn SPT token. probably for our Splinterland stuff, and that one, had its day in the sun, and I think it will again eventually get some kind of other use case. So,
Mango, you mentioned that all in level up's head at the moment is land. So where
Yes.
you are standing land wise, like personally and Team Philippines, like do you guys own land? Do you
Yeah,
have land?
I knew you were going to ask me that question, baby Omega. So I actually
Oh,
asked him. I was like, we've actually got a spreadsheet that's holding all our land plots right now. So the guy didn't message me back, but I know as Team PH, as Team PH as a community, I think we're holding about 2,500 plots of land. So me
2,500?
first, yeah, 2,500 plots of land. I mean, you have to understand that Level Up is a region holder and a track holder. So he's one of those undercover guys. You will never know. But yeah, he's that guy. So he's Mr. Land, and we pretty much own a whole region. So we own a whole region and pretty much 2/3 of another one. And then we're literally taking advantage of the market right now because people are just dumping them at stupid prices. So it's like common plots are not going to be, bad. They're going to be good. So you might as well pick them all up. What you're going to need is the cards, and we have the cards. So that's what we're doing right now. We're just in an accumulation phase. So, the Team PH organization, we own plots and we run a mortgage scheme to allow Filipinos to purchase those plots. So what they do is we spread let's say a land plot's $34 right now. We'll buy that off the market and we'll put it on a mortgage for one of our community members to pay over 12 months. So we're doing that. We want to make sure as many people, and as you can see in the group, we've got the leader of Legion of Angels in the house, Mr. Garut. So he's actually in conversation and in collaboration with Team PH to get his portion of Filipinos to do exactly the same as what we're doing. So you see, what we're doing is we're literally buying up as much pieces of land, as much land as we can. We're accumulating on that, and we're pretty much putting them into the hands of our people. So, yeah, that's what we're doing, man.
See, I told you I'm not a whale. My 200 is not whale. He's putting me to shame.
So the reason I ask you about that, Mango, because I also wanted to hear your take on the very very recent proposal about the soulbound cards and gladiator cards that just came out today, and that was mentioned a little bit in the town square, but now Matt went ahead and put it as a proposal. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I've got to be honest. I haven't read it yet. I was
wait. I was going to say you got to tell me what it is before we talk about it.
Oh, you guys don't know?
No, I didn't have time. I got home from work and I had to take my kids to martial arts, so I barely got home in time to stream.
Basically, the idea that was mentioned in the town square was that every soulbound card or gladiator card that you want to use on land, you have to make it eligible for land, which means to burn some DEC for it. So what the proposal is that Matt put today after the town square was that DEC will be twice the collection power. So basically for level 1 common, it will be like 10 DEC. If you want to make it workable on land, and that will not unbound it, that will just make it eligible for land. And then come time when we can actually unbound the cards, if the price for making them unbound is higher, that the amount that you paid for making them eligible for land will be deducted from the final amount. If it's lower, then your card will be automatically unbound. But that's what the proposal is about. And it's in a pre-proposal phase, so it will be on Splex or Pickmaster, Stevie.
What I was checking really quick. So a max level gold foil is going to have 52,000 collection power. So they're saying I'd have to burn 104,000 DEC to put this on the land.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote no. That's too high.
Well,
And I'll put a
maybe
comment
before
that that's too high.
maybe
But
before maybe before you vote, no, maybe you read the proposal itself because Matt, as usual, explains himself and shares his thoughts about it. I also feel it's a bit high, and obviously, it's a mechanic to discourage people from using soulbound cards on land. But yeah, so far, it seems to be um, in support. The community seems to be in support of the proposal.
sorry, I'm
Yeah,
trying
I kind
to
of like it.
listen. And really,
Yeah, I kind of
so
like
you
it.
don't want those cards to be able to be used on land?
Explore, Steve,
Oh,
explore, and then
remember,
there is proposals.
I'm more of a player, so I want to see those cards in the game. But in all fairness, I think it's a good idea to ensure that, for example, DC is going to get to its peg number one. Um, Secondly, I think I think people should spend some money on some cards, man, especially while they're this cheap. It's the only way that we're going to get to where we need to be if people are buying cards and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Me personally, I'll probably vote yes for this. So I'm just reading it through. I'm already on the third
I mean,
paragraph. But
to stake this card into land, like if I'm lucky enough to get one more gold Azar and have a gold
mm,
legendary level 4, and I've already got a normal legendary a legendary maxed out card, and I spent
yeah,
quite a bit of money to have my account to be able to play in Champ 3 to be able to do that. He's saying
yeah,
now I have to invest 100,000 DEC, which is literally, what is that, $1,000 into that card to be able to put it onto land?
$100.
Or no,
hundred.
$100. Sorry, $100 to put a card onto land, and then another because it's a max level card, and so it's going to be it's $110 for me to stake that card into a land plot, right? It's 10,000 for a max level card on land. So I mean that's and if it doesn't even unlock it to be like sellable or anything, that's ridiculous. I mean, who would ever do that for $110? I could probably go buy cards that would get me more
That's the
power than
idea.
that does.
Yeah, I think
If
that's
you
the
read
idea.
if you read the proposal,
Well,
that's the idea.
see, that to me, the little bit of the thing I did hear today was Agro said he understood it's a bear market and we don't have money, that people don't have those extra passive income flows within the crypto market that are making them very much right now. And so I don't know where they're thinking people are going to have the cash to do stuff like
They
this.
don't. It's the same thing with the tournaments where they put low level tournaments. You can join them, but it will cost you more than you win for the first place. So they're like, you're welcome to do it if you want, but it'll cost you that much. And this is obviously an effort to disincentivize people from doing it. And if somebody is that desperate to do it, or there is associated cost with it, then yeah, as I said, when the time comes for us to unbound the cards, that money that you paid already will be discounted from the price that you have to pay for unlocking the card.
Yeah, but I'm going to agree with Tails here. You know, he's saying like it is unlikely land would provide a reasonable ROI that would
Yeah,
cover over $100 per
Yeah,
card to put a card
definitely.
into land. So that means nobody's going to use them. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll look into this more and I'll probably do a video on it. But like my gut reaction to this is it's like the gut reaction is this is desperation. And I don't like to see desperation. It's we gave you something. It's soul bound to your account. You can only have it at a high level if you've already put quite a lot of money into this game. You're only going to have an extra one to put onto land and not, and take off of your account if you got lucky enough to pull multiple copies of that one. Like technically today, if land started, I don't have one card with with two max copies, not one. And I'm a champion one player most of the seasons, earning over 100 chests per season. I'm not going to say I'm the guy with the most cards because there's some guys who have been making sure they earn 150 chests every season since this
yeah,
started. But I'm not like near the bottom. I'm in the upper echelon of how many cards people probably have at this point. Not the top, but I'm probably top 10%. And I'm telling you, I don't have one extra card that I have two max copies of yet. I might if I get another gold one of the gold legendaries because I did max that one out and I pulled 3 in a chest, so one more, and I'd have a whole 1 card that would be ready to just move to land without affecting my deck. And you're telling me I have to pay $100 to do that? Like, that's what I don't understand. Who has these cards in mass that's going to move them onto land? That's going to make it a big problem.
Both farms.
But then they have them low level. What do I care if a bot farm puts level 3 soulbound cards on land? They're going to have hardly any PP. They're going to take almost nothing, and they have to buy a land plot to do that. So you know what? Let them. That's a land plot they have to hold. It holds up the value of land so that they can have level 4 and 5 commons or level maybe 4 and 5 rares. There's not a whole bunch of bot farms who are running champion accounts. There's just not. There's just not that many champion accounts in the game.
No, but what says in the proposal is cards that actually, if they want to use, they have to buy from the market if it's not for the soulbound cards. Like a bot farm with 1,000 accounts, if the owner has 1,000 plots, he can just send 1 plot each of the accounts and fill it up with the best cards that have accumulated so far, and then they wouldn't have to spend a single dime on cards for land. I mean, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying from what I read, what I understood was the point, and it definitely affects me a lot. I was counting a lot.
You know,
on
and
those
that's a
cards.
short-sighted thing to say. It didn't cost me nothing to get my soulbound cards. It cost me time and keeping a collection of cards up to date to be able to win games.
You,
took
yeah, I'm talking
investment
about
to
the
do it.
bots.
No,
You-
but it took
it
them
took
some
you.
kind of investment to do it too, because you can't earn cards now without owning cards, right? You have to have RP in the battles at this
or
point.
renting.
Well, but still, then you're supporting the game by renting. But
Yeah,
still,
and
like
renting's
if you're,
expensive.
but I know
Expensive
renting is
to do.
gotten way too has been getting kind of cheap and stuff, but it's still supporting the game in some way or another. Nobody gets these cards for free. Nobody. They don't just magically pop on your account. You have to play and you have to win, and you have to either own or rent cards that are good enough to win games. And nobody has them at high level if they've been running bronze bot farms, silver bot farms. No, those accounts don't have them in high level. Maybe one of their 10,000 accounts would have got super lucky and pulled like 3 gold legendaries like I did, and have one theoretical good card to put onto land. But you know, you can't move the cards
they don't need
around.
to-
You can't
they don't need-
consolidate them.
They
I
don't
mean,
need two
literally,
cards.
I would love to meet the bot farmer with 10,000 accounts who's going to own 10,000 lands and stake pay that DEC to stake level 4 and 5 modern rewards cards that have some of the soulbound cards that have some of the lowest PP in the game.
Yeah, but
He's-
he has to stake less DEC, and he doesn't have to spend anything. He doesn't have to buy cards. He can just have his plots, even though it's low level workers, they will still produce something. So everything that is produced will be profit. You'll
Yeah,
be
but they're
selling
going to
it.
produce very little, because the way that we produce stuff on land, it's all a big pie, right? We
Yep.
produce 100 a day. There's the 3 of us. You go ahead and put your low level cards on there. I'm putting max level cards on my lands. I have a good collection of them. I'm going to have like exponentially more PP than you, and sure, you might take 1% of that reward away, but I'm going to get all the rest because
Actually,
my
no, I'll
PP
be
is
getting-
way higher than you.
I'll be getting grain because that's not limited supply. That is per plot per hour. So I'll be getting grain.
Well,
I'll be selling the grain, and that for me will be profit. I'm just saying hypothetically. So
yeah, okay,
everything,
yeah, I'll take that, and maybe let's let Mango get in for a sec if he wants.
I don't know if I really want to step into this one, because actually I'm reading some of the stuff that Tails wrote there, and you know, are these soulbound cards time bound? Are they going to be? Is it time bound? Like in the sense where, for example, they're going to stop printing?
Yes, they're going to stop
come
printing
out?
eventually. We don't know when. The team hasn't announced it. The only thing they've loosely said is 1 to 2 years, which is, you know, a long time. Either way.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I think personally, I mean, if me being a landowner, I think I would shy away from putting any soulbound cards in my own land. I think there's been such a big duration and a big hype up on land, so people have actually bought cards super cheap on the market right now, because I know that Damel, one of our community members, has literally gone out buying max level reward legendaries. Like for example, Bilshka and who's the other one? Harclaw, because they were like super cheap, and then he's focused all his lands upon those particular things. So I don't know how many people would actually put soulbound cards on their land in the first place. Me personally, I mean, probably Steve. I mean, you've got a good collection, so I don't think you're thinking of putting any soulbound cards in yours.
No,
I mean,
not
that's how I.
well.
Yeah.
Well, the only ones I would put in is if I got 2 copies that were max. That's really the only way. And
You've got more. But
you
you're not
know,
going to stop playing ranked. You're not stopping playing ranked, are you? And I know you've got more than
no,
one
no.
account.
So, like the way my card collection is built up, I've been renting out all my alpha, betas, and untamed. No, alphas and betas, and then I play with my modern deck. So I have all my untamed, all my Chaos Legion, all my dice on my account I play with, and then I have a couple silver accounts that I rent out on Nifty, and then I have another silver account I bought. Those ones are gonna like combined, and those cards are gonna kind of combine up. Maybe not to max level, but probably gold level. And then I'm gonna be staking all my old alpha and beta cards that I've been renting out with a combination of all of those cards. And I'm probably gonna take a serious look at my untamed cards and go, you know what? If I don't use it that often, you can go ahead and go to land because you do get a bonus. So I'll take a few of those cards that like just don't make the rotation that often and be like, I can live without you. You know, something has replaced you in either the Soulbound or the other ones. But I wasn't going to be moving very much to Soulbound. And I mean, I would have to see somebody with some data to back this up, that somebody's going to be able to stake large amounts of high-level Soulbound monsters to a land, to multiple lands. And I don't think it's right. I think it's... I don't know. Do you guys think there's some bot farmer out there who's holding 1,000 plots, running 1,000 accounts, and earning a decent level of soulbound cards that they would put onto land? And mind you, it's still not like they get to do that for free. They still have to own those lands. They still have to invest DEC when they stake the cards into the land, and those workers still have to be fed just like anybody else's workers. So they're going to have 2 lands in order to make any grain to sell. I mean, they're not going to make very much unless they have multiple plots doing it, because half the grain you earn is going to go away to the monsters that are farming it, because they only earn it 2 times their level. So, you know, you're not going to be earning a lot. And you know what? Also, grain isn't going to be worth anything, in my opinion. I could be proven wrong, but until SPS is worth something, I don't see grain being worth anything, because the only people who would buy grain over just producing it themselves, it would be a large landholder who decides he wants to put all his people working on SPS, and SPS at 1.6 cents, that rewards pool just isn't going to be big enough to justify spending a lot on grain. There's going to be some arbitrage number in there, so grain won't be worth nothing, because at some point it'd be worth it to buy it and farm the SPS instead of growing it yourself. So there'll be some level, but with 1.6 cent SPS, that level's really low. Now, if we can get the flywheel going and SPS starts hitting a quarter, then things get different. Then maybe grain gets spicy, but I don't see it before that.
So on your question, I think they might be a a bot farm owner who actually has a region on his main account, a region or whatnot. And then obviously, instead of putting the cards on that region, he can just disperse it around his bot farm. And then whatever cards he put, first, the amount of DEC that he needs to stake will be less. And the grain, as cheap as it is, if it's hundreds of thousands of grain, even if it's
the low-level cards won't earn that much grain. They just won't.
When you have 1,000 plots and they earn little grain each, it compounds. That's it. That's the whole idea about bot farms. You earn little on hundreds of thousands of accounts, and that little becomes a little bit bigger when you multiply it.
Okay, yeah, but the problem is, this person that you're describing has to invest $34,000 into land. right?
He maybe have it
But
already. He was running both farms for 2 years. He made quite a lot of
but
money.
still, they have to hold $34,000 worth of land at this exact point to
Hmm.
farm grain to maybe make a few pennies. There's opportunity cost here. Whales who have that kind of cash, they're not gonna do that unless it's more profitable than something else that they could do with that money. Okay, if I have 50K sitting around theoretically, because that's what you're going to need to run 1,000 accounts and own 1,000 lands and be ready to stake multiple hundreds to thousands of dollars worth of DEC. um, I just I don't see it as being the best play. It's not. This is why I'm not putting a ton more money into Splinterlands right now, because it's not the best place to put it right now, in my opinion. Only because I already have a full collection of cards. I already have
Yeah.
enough cards to put onto all my land. I don't need, and I already also have, a decent amount of extra cards that I could just sell. I don't need more, and the game's got to prove they could turn things around before I would think about putting more into the game. And Tails is throwing up a comment here. He says, the reason that people are salty and leaving is that there's no new functions in the game. There's no new game modes, just endless economical band-aids. And he's talked about this before, and I agree with him, that are implemented to keep asset prices kind of artificially inflated, but that don't pump the token at all. Because all this does, in theory, is protect the value of cards a little bit more. A little bit more, too. Right? Because now you have to go buy cards instead of using your soulbound cards. If you're this bot farm that was like planning to use thousands of accounts of low-level soulbound cards to put on land, which I still don't. Man, if there's somebody out there, I would love them to come into the chat and tell me that that's what they're doing. I really
Oh, I
would.
wish I knew somebody, but I don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. You'd have to bring me someone who said they were going to do that. And to be honest, it's not against the rules, so they shouldn't feel bad about doing it if they are. But I'd like to see somebody prove this economic model, because it doesn't make any sense to me from the face of it. Unless they bought their land in pre-sale, but then they're an OG in the game.
Most of the
So
bot farmers are OGs in the game, yeah.
yeah, but then if they're OGs in the game, they probably already have a card collection too. Like a regular one. So they're not,
With which they're playing, maybe.
well, at least on an account or two, probably. Right? They probably have a couple accounts being botted in gold or diamond or champion, and then maybe they're running an army behind that if they're doing that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, I'm not defending the proposal. I'm just explaining what I took from it when I was reading, and um, I'm just usually giving Matt the benefit of the doubt, and I don't agree with Theo's comment. Like, yeah, I said everybody wants new mechanics and new shiny stuff and whatnot, but they said it numerous times already. No, it's not the excuse. The bear market. The excuse is they have undertook two huge projects, which they are stuck with until they are ready to release it, and they're not going to divert their attention from those projects until they're completed. So all the good stuff that we are wanting, like new game modes and new battles 2.0 and skins and battle passes and whatnot, everything comes after. So no matter how much we complain that there is nothing new, no matter how unhappy we are that there is a very poor mobile experience, it is what it is. That's what we're stuck with until they get those two big projects out, which hopefully is around the corner, so we don't have to wait much longer about that. But I mean, that's what I see. That's what my view of opinion is. Like, it's all good. We all want those stuff, but it's also we have to understand that it's not like waving a magic band and things happen.
I think you have to see this as a business. Like sometimes you have to look within the business to see why they're doing things like this. I think, the extension of the runway is very important. As I'm a business owner, and sometimes, during the pandemic specifically, I had to think outside the box. And I think all of the new initiatives that really Splinterlands is coming up with is really based on kind of like extending that runway somehow, but to kind of like drip out everything else that's left kind of thing. And that's why people are really getting frustrated. I mean, me personally, I did get frustrated a little while ago, but that was more to do with the Rift Watchers shenanigans. But besides that, it's like everything that's coming out is like trying to drip you of all your DEC, trying to drip you of all your, all your dry powder. I think this is just another way of doing that. And I think as a business, it's got to survive. And I think as a community, this community is great because, they do rally behind Splinterlands, but, what can you do? All of the new initiatives and things that are coming out right now are all sucking in more and more and more. Even this Great Burn thing and the introduction of guild points and all this stuff, did we really need it? Do we really need new buildings to come in right now, for guilds? There's only a certain portion that are actually maxed out. So you're really just pushing towards all of the OGs and stuff like that, the people that can actually afford it with their funny money, because pretty much the dry powder pools run out. And I think, it's just the survival of a business. And I think, yeah, it does cause a lot of frustration like it would. But then, if they didn't do these things, could we extend the runway? What if we stay in this bear market for another year? What you going to do? I'd rather have a functioning game that's let's say 50% complete than no game at all. And I think that all of these things that are coming out are just initiatives to ensure that we have an extension of runway. Bot farms, people that have X amount of accounts. I remember I did an analysis on that, and they were very profitable back then. Bot farms, especially in ranked and stuff like that. But it would be good to say that the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I mean, the rewards that you get at the end of the season, there's no way compared to what you put in, especially if you buy additional, energy and stuff like that some people are doing. And there's a lot of the push on that is basically because of the soulbound cards, which now they're going to cost something to put onto land. But then you see, should they even be on the land in the first place? That's my question. Should they be even used for that? Same as gladiator cards. Are you going to allow gladiator cards to be put on land? For me personally, I think it's just ways to squeeze even more dry powder out of people. And, for those that can do it and can sustain, they stay and they'll reap the rewards later down the line, because at the end of the day, this is just a weeding out process. So the people that are going to go are going to go. But then, it doesn't stop new people from coming in when prices are on all-time low. I mean, I'm picking up SPS every day, okay, because it's that cheap. And if you've got some dry powder coming in, and it's affordable. But then if you're in a situation where you've got real life outside and you don't have that much capital to spend, and you're probably over exhausted on spending, then maybe perhaps it's time that you pack up and go. But that's the way of the world, man. It's survival of the fittest.
I see that, and Baby Omega, I'll tell you, I read through the comments. They're not supportive. There was one supportive. Every other one of them said no, and one of them said, well, maybe, but not at this cost. Which is kind of where I'm at. Maybe you could put some kind of cost to move it, but it's way too high.
Because I was just looking at the results. So
no, but see, this is fake. You want to know why this is fake? Because there are accounts with automatic votes on this kind of stuff, and when it's brand new like this, there are people who voted for this don't even know they voted for it. Because you're in a creation trail, your creation trail votes. This happens to me all the time. Is that you see? Is that I'll end up with like a green check mark on these proposals, and the reason why I end up in it is because I'm in. As I was reading as I was reading it, I'm in this creation group. The only reason I didn't upvote this when he upvoted it was because I was low on energy. But everybody in the Splinter Blues creation trail upvoted that post, and they could have a ton of SPS, and none of them have even read this yet. So
okay, yeah, sure.
it can adjust and it can change, and this is why sometimes you see stuff get through here, and then it goes to the actual Splinterlands vote, and that might be the first time some of those accounts that aren't paying as much attention read it, and then they vote no, and then it goes down.
For me, I would be happy if it doesn't pass. It doesn't benefit me in any way. I mean,
like we got Hewitt here, he doesn't like it. Another big one, the Real Wolf, who's a pretty big account here. He's been around even longer than me. He doesn't like it. Milo Mex, he pointed out he didn't like it. The only person that I think supported it was though he is kind of a big of account. It's Dave.
No, Dave,
He was the only one that really did a pure, and everyone else is pretty much yelling at him. Because to me, what this is, and this is like one kind of thing I've had a problem with on the team, is that they made a mistake, and they're asking the community to use our money to fix it, in my opinion. And they made a mistake by including DEC as being worth so much money in the SPS airdrop, which caused people to hoard DEC to incredible levels, and then it also and because of the way DEC is made, or I don't remember if they've changed this, but it's an algorithmic coin. So when its value is over peg, they print more of it. So we created like a perfect storm where we pumped DEC to like almost 7 times what it should be. And then when you played the game, you were earning a ton of money because the game was overprinting the coin to try to get people to dump it to fix the over peg, but nobody would dump it. So we went from 7x to 10x, and we stayed very near 10x for a long time with people playing the game and earning an incredible amount of DEC. And their poor design put too much DEC into the market because they created an algorithmic stablecoin and then made it worth it for you to hold. And then people figured out that if we just all keep holding it, then you could play the game and you're earning. I was earning sometimes during that bull market, I was earning like literally like $4 a game that I won. It was insane. But that was a mistake they did on their side to put too much of this into the marketplace. And now they want to get rid of it. And they keep asking us to fill that void. We have to spend too much money on promo cards. We have to spend money on this, spend money on that. And now, they took away the Soulbound rewards cards because bots were making too much money farming the other cards and selling them. I mean, they took away that reward for us, and now they're taking what was supposed to be a reward for you in the long term. Soulbound rewards cards were supposed to be something that was a long-term reward. Like if I played this game for months and years, I would earn maxed out Soulbound cards, and one day I would be able to unlock these cards. I'd be one of the few accounts that had them and be able to sell them. And now they're saying, no, wait. We're going to take it back because maybe we gave you too many, and now you have to pay more if you want to use those cards. So now those cards we gave you for free, you kind of got to buy them if you want to stake them. I don't like that at all. I don't.
Yeah, but I don't think it has anything to do with them trying to burn more DEC. From what I read, is people complaining about the Chaos Legion cards price. People being salty about the cards being so cheap, and actually, he's mentioning that it was brought to his attention, which means somebody was complaining that if we allow now those people to use Soulbounds and Gladiators, then nobody will be buying the Rift Watcher cards, and then our cards won't increase in value. See, what he says is, initially, I thought it would be fine to allow some Soulbound cards to be used as workers on land without any burning of DEC, because each player account only has a relatively small number of Soulbound cards that would only be able to cover a small number of land plots. It has since been brought to my attention that users with large number of accounts, all separately earning Soulbound reward cards, would simply be able to split up their land plots among their many accounts and thereby eliminate the need to get any other cards to work their land. So for me, that's a result of people complaining that, hey, we want to have our cards retain value or increase in value, and we want people to actually be using real cards for land and not Soulbound cards. And I personally don't see this coming from the team, but more like under pressure from the community.
Yeah, but that's silly. We have a community. If the community was pressuring him, then they could have done this proposal. When it comes from him, it came from the team. I'm going to leave it that simply. If he's going to post it, this is coming from the team. He is literally the co-owner of Splinterlands with Aggie. If he posts it, it's coming from them. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody on the team agrees with him, but it's still coming from Splinterlands. This isn't a player proposal. This is their proposal to do this. Now, he might
I didn't say
have
it's
got
not
this
theirs.
idea
I just
from
said
other
it's under
people, but
under pressure from the community.
yeah, again, you know what though? I would push him. I want somebody to provide me an example of a group of accounts. You know, if this is
Yeah.
so easy to notice, if people are able to complain, somebody show me something. Because you know what? If you can complain about this, it needs to be more than theoretical. Because, like I'm saying, you have to show me an account that you can prove owns thousands of lands and is playing thousands of accounts, and that you think is going to farm them all for free. And then you have to and even if you did that, I would go, well, what's the average level of cards on those accounts? And I would want us to compare max PP compared to a player using real cards that they've collected over time over on thousands of lands. And I'm guessing it would be very minuscule, and their rewards pool would be very small. And if all they're going to do is farm grain and sell it with that, sure, they might earn a tiny bit of money from that, because there'll be a liquidity pool for grain in theory. If it's not pushed down to zero, they'll be able to offload it. But there, I don't see that there would be that many people that would be doing that. And if there is, then especially because we only have 50,000 accounts that play the game right now, maybe 80,000. So you think there's multiple people running 10 or 20,000 bot farms to work land for free?
Oh, I don't know at all. I don't think anything. I just said, when you asked, I was thinking of possible scenarios of how can you extract value without putting anything extra. So that was the only idea that came to my mind. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. Obviously, there might be things we don't know. As like your suggestion about those bots made a lot of sense. That they run just to be hindering you. But it would have never crossed my mind. I would never I always thought that somebody set up a bunch of bot farms, and then they just let them, like they left the game and they just didn't switch off the server or whatever it was, so they kept on running. So that was my that's what I was thinking. But your point made a lot of sense, and it's something that you came up with, which probably a lot of people didn't. So it might be the same thing. Maybe we're not seeing the big picture. Maybe there are ways to exploit it. I don't know. I'm just saying that seems to be the reason. That it's not like they want you to spend that money. They want to hinder you from using soulbound cards on land, from my understanding.
Well, shouldn't the proposal just been then, can you use soulbound cards on land or not?
Come again?
Why didn't they just propose, can you use soulbound cards or not, to the community? And the community, he could throw the same stats out there. He could go, look, guys, I think if we allow this, land might not be that good for you. It might not, it might get over farmed by certain accounts that have to do it. So, let's have a vote. Can you use soulbound cards on land? And if you just did a vote like that, you could not involve this DEC sync, but instead he's adding in a DEC sync because they need to get more DEC off the market, right? Mm-hmm. So he's sneaking that in there. He's forcing it into it to create, because, there is maybe going to be some incentive. If I do get this max level card that I was looking at on my account here, right? If I get her to max level with 52,000 power, she'll be better than some of my maxed out, current cards. This number would be better. And
especially if you're planning to sell it later, you have to pay that money anyways.
Well, yeah, but I never thought it would be that expensive. I mean, could you imagine if it would be that expensive? These cards would be so expensive on the market. I don't know if people would buy them.
Max Gold Legendary, $100. I don't know. I think they're pretty good cards.
Well, no, but if I had to put $100 into it and all of that time, I'm not selling it for anything less than like $300 or $400.
Whoa, okay. I mean,
You know,
if you
so if the market
buy
wasn't
a
there,
market for it,
if I'm not making that investment, it's like I'm not even going to pay that. Maybe some others would do it if they could make a tiny profit, because I guess if you can pay
yeah,
100, make 150, some people
yeah.
would do it. But how many people are even going to have this card?
Well,
How many of you have it in the crowd at max level? Anyone?
I have the
How many
close.
of you have a gold foil legendary at max level?
Me.
No,
You have one, right?
Yeah.
I
So
don't, and I play champ, and I still don't have
and
a
he
max
doesn't.
level
And
one.
we can look at the chat, see how many of them have one. I technically don't have one, but I have two legendaries that one more copy I would have one. The point is, uh, there's not that many people who can you know run this and put max level cards on their land. They could put low level cards on their land, and they're in the beginning of the game. Maybe that'll be a little bit competitive, but land is a long game, right? In fact, 1.5 is like a complete warm up game. All we can do is research SPS and grain. It's not even the
Mhm.
real land, right? We're
Yeah.
not even really producing things. So what do I plan to do with the warm up phase? I'm not putting max level cards on all 200 of my lands. I'm putting max level
Oh,
cards on about 75 of them. And then the
Yeah.
rest of them are going to have level sixes and even a few like max level silver stuff, because I can use the money that I'm making during that phase to then slowly upgrade the cards, and have the land help, increase, reinvest the land earnings into the land. There's no reason, in my opinion, to go 100% day one, because nothing in this ecosystem screams you need to me. I maybe I'm completely wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll adjust my strategy. But like most of the public big landholders I know are not saying they're going 100% on day one. Gank's a region owner. He's not going 100% on day one.
I
He's talked
know.
about only doing like 20% of his land. Do you know, Mango, how much of your guys' 22,000 lands you think you're going to fully max out max level cards day one?
No, I
Maybe
don't
you'll
think
change
there's
my
going to be
mind.
many. I think well, level up is got enough. I think for his region. He's been accumulating alpha beta cards like crazy, seeing as they've gone well, mostly beta cards at the moment. So, but I think I'd say 50% of our community, 50%.
Yeah, and it's a little easier even for them because they're targeting doing it on one land, right? So they only had to get five max level monsters.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
at
we tried to say that every community member has 5 plots of land,
okay, so 25 max level monsters.
25 cards. Yeah, and
It's
we're
it's
focusing on
still
reward cards. Yeah,
it's
reward
still a
cards right
lot
now.
different than, the big accounts. Like I need for 200 lands, I need 10,000 max level monsters.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of crazy numbers.
yeah, so at scale, it gets really, 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 for the big holders, it gets really kind of interesting. And if I know that Gank is only going to go hard on 100 of his 1,000 lands, then I know if I go hard on 100 of mine and half hard on 50 of mine, I'm earning more than Gank. So, the point is, but eventually, at some point, I do plan to have max level cards on all of my 200 lands. You know what? I imagine max level cards on all 200 of my lands would beat 1,000 lands with whatever level soul bounds that are there, especially because that's gonna like what what's that account gonna do to keep leveling them? Do you think it's gonna keep renting and playing to get them higher
Mm.
level over time? And then they're gonna stop at some point. So if they haven't got them max level by the time these are gone, to level up those cards would be an extreme investment. And still, this guy is holding like my favorite guys in the world are going to be the guys that hold lots of lands and use it at a low level because they're holding up the floor of land. They're not stealing much from the land.
Yeah.
I don't want to push that guy away. I want him to stay and earn his pennies.
So I'm your
Because when
favorite person now? What
yeah,
was
yeah, because if you can't max your land and I can put more on mine, then I'm earning more of the pie, but you're holding up the value of my assets. So if I do decide to leave, I can still get $40 per land. Where if that guy dumped his 3,000 lands that you sit that are his 1,000 lands you seem to think is sitting out there in some bot farm to have, he would dump the market pretty heavy.
As selfish as your point of view is, you're welcome.
Hey, I want to. Hey, I want to win. Okay, I want to win too. And from the crowd out there, the only other person that had a max legendary gold besides you,
Tails.
Baby Omega, was Tails.
Yeah, I
Nobody
saw.
else. Nobody else out there had one.
Well, I
And most
mean,
of them.
it's not like we have hundreds of people in the chat neither, but I mean, I
Yeah,
understand.
I know. But the point is, they're rare, and especially because I'm a champion player. I don't have one. Um, Mango said he's a champion player. He doesn't have one, and it wasn't until like just the last couple of weeks that I actually got lucky and opened 3 of this one and 3 of this one. I have a gold Lux, but this is my only Lux, and I paid a pretty penny to have this, so that's staying on the account. It is needed to win games.
See
It's
what you
not.
did? Now I have to compete with Tails, who is your favorite schmuck in the game.
Oh, Tails, that's funny. Tails is just my favorite person in the game because he usually does the really fun videos that teach me things. He did a great one that maybe we could touch base on right now since some people might see this.
But
Uh,
before that,
oh,
because he mentioned it a little while ago and we didn't not mention it, but somebody might have missed in the chat. Also, after us, Tails is planning to stream some Stella. So if you guys wanna watch him on Twitch, he'll be streaming this whole new Stella. Well, it's not that new, but still new.
yeah, and
Stella.
he got me into that game full. Just so you know,
And
I
you
ain't
got
lying.
me. He got you and
Yeah,
you got me. But yeah, I played a little bit too. But it's funny. It's like it's RPG game. It's entertaining. So maybe you guys wanna watch him stream after, but after us, after we finish. Tell not
yeah,
before us. Sorry.
yeah. I need to watch it because I can't beat this boss, and apparently he's going to show us how.
Yeah.
but but yeah,
Jeff
but
opened.
the other video that he put out, and it was something he did live on Splinterlands TV. He talked about doing away with the Alpha Gold tournament because there. He pointed out something to me I'd never thought about. If you look at who plays those and who wins those, the one Biz Kitty basically takes down almost all of that money, and he works for the team. So and he was once in charge of tournaments. So you have the guy who was once in charge of tournaments taking down a bulk amount of the rewards from the biggest paying tournament, which is also the biggest. Like it dwarfs all the other tournaments involved. And he said we should repurpose those funds to give Weirdbeard what he needs to have rewards for a draft mode or a 2v2 mode or something else, because at this point you're dumping a whole bunch of money into a very select few people that even have enough alpha gold cards to play, and they've been collecting those rewards for over 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a while since the talk of these tournaments going away have started, but yeah, still talks.
Yeah, and so I would think, Tails, if you want to do a community proposal, if you want to write it up, I'll fund at least half of it. I'll say right now. So I'll give you 50K of the DEC. Maybe we can find somebody else to help with the rest.
Oh, see, you heard it live here first, guys. Just saying.
Yeah,
And
because
by the
it was
way,
a perfect thing to me that needs to end, because like you're giving like 13 people thousands and thousands of SPS for 2 years when that could have been used. Like even if it was used for regular tournaments for everybody else, those tournaments would have been more of a draw. Maybe I still don't think tournaments are really that honest. I think they're mostly won by bots and people using battle helpers, so they're not my favorite thing.
yeah.
But maybe they would have bigger prizes, but I like the idea of changing it over to being a pool to use for a new game mode or a new tournament mode, because I think one of the problems is with adding those modes is there's no SPS set aside for them in the white paper, so you have to take rewards away from somewhere. And would any of us notice if there were no more rewards going to the gold foil tournaments that none of us can play in anyways because it's alpha gold foil?
And by the way, Jeff also have one maxed alpha gold foil, and welcome to the stream, Jeff.
Oh well, Jeff has everything, so the fact that he only has one shocks me. I thought he'd have 5.
I mean, I don't know. Anybody heard about this guy? I mean, I just see him in the chat. I never heard about who's that Jeff. I mean, Jeff
Oh, you
opens
don't
card.
know Jeff opens cards?
Yeah, who's that? I have
He,
no idea.
he are you joking?
Yes.
You better be okay. I'm like, I used to do these cute little streams where I open 200 packs or 400 packs. He opens 5,000 packs.
I
I think
know.
he even had a video where he opened 10,000 packs.
Then he
Jeff,
even
what's
brought
the
me
most you've opened in a video? I want to know, is 10,000 the right number? I remember that, I think.
until he
So,
answers. I'll tell you also one of my streams when I was opening cards. He brought Milo, and Milo brought me a nice gold foil legendary Rift Watcher card. So I know who Jeff is. I was just joking. Now
Christian Carlos
everybody's
says he
the
buys a
suspense.
lot load of energy and
The
he only has
suspense.
one level 3 gold foil. Yeah, hopefully he's still here and we get an answer. I know it's big though. Oh, he just did. I think so. So I think he agrees with me. It was a 10,000 was his biggest opening. So
That's a lot of packs, man. That's a lot of packs.
And he has a lot more.
Please tell me they weren't untamed packs. If they were
no,
untamed
Oh, was
packs,
they
it
were
big?
chaos. It
Oh.
was Chaos Legion. The big ones, the big opens.
I don't know.
But
I remember just he helped Milo helped me open some gold foil legendary. So and even do you know that Milo has an account as well, Splinterverse account?
You know what? I didn't know that. I know who Milo is at least, but I did not know he had his own account.
Yeah, and I have sent him also. I think I have sent him a pack. Was it a pack, Jeff? I think it was a pack to Milo's account. Yeah, for helping me pull that gold foil legendary. Yeah, Milo opens good cards definitely.
Here, let me
I
bring
mean,
up.
people might not know who Jeff is, but everybody knows who Milo is. So sorry, Jeff. You're in his shadow.
Anybody who wants to follow MangoMayhem, I did drop his Peak D into chat. As I mentioned, he does do a lot of things here. He's a good person to support, and he's probably a good example of somebody who's building here. And then this is your in-game name too, right? If I sent something here, you'd get it.
yes.
I was gifted this the other day on Splinterlands TV, so I'm going to give it to you, and you can do what you want with it. You can't see it. I
As
realize
far as I know him, he would just give it away to the community. But yeah,
it was a torrent fiend, a regular torrent fiend. Somebody
Thank
gave
you.
it
So
to me.
yeah, no,
the
I
other
appreciate
day.
that. And you know what? I know exactly who I'm going to give that to. So someone that needs that. So I'm definitely going to give that to, and I'll make sure that you're mentioned in the post. Because yeah, we share our blessings, man. I know exactly who would love that card.
All right,
I
cool.
still keep my Auric Mango. I
Hey man, you know what? I was going through a phase where I was literally, because I always go into SPL TV. I listen to a lot of streamers, especially while I'm playing my account. So I like genuine ones. So there are a couple that are over, OTP, as they say. They go on a bit too much. But then I tend to stay around the ones that have some kind of like decent content and what we're talking about and stuff like that, interactions and stuff. And whatever you need, man. And I've been doing it for a while. I just do it undercover, So whenever I go into, especially with Filipino streamers and stuff, I go in there and I grace the community and stuff with some, I share the blessings, give them some packs and cards and whatever. But seeing as you really wanted that Ulrich, I really wanted to give it to you. So
yeah, it's funny because I'm honest. Before that, I didn't know. Like I didn't know anything about MangoMayhem, and when somebody says like, "Oh, you want to talk to Filipino Mafia, you talk to MangoMayhem," and I thought they were joking, man. I had no idea that you actually are like the Godfather there. So yeah, it was a new information for me at that time.
I'm the guy that how can I say? We met in real life. Like I meet people in real life. So, like, for example, where I am in the province, I'd go over to Manila, which is, it's a plane away, and you go over there and I'd call up some of the Spinlands guys, take for dinner, discuss what we're going to do, strategies and stuff, and, how I can help them in terms of assets or whatever. And that's it. I mean, and I try to help as many people as I can within my capabilities. And, it comes back, man. It comes back tenfold. So in some kind of area in your life, I'm one of those believers, man, that you know it's going to come back. So you know, if I can help in this game, you know, I maxed out my cards, and then every time that I was opening packs on stream, I'm always getting like something decent or something that I needed, and then you know you can give something away. You know, now it's a bear market; it's hard for some people, and I understand that. But you know, for me personally, um, even more so, you should help because this is the strength of the community, and you know, I'm not just talking about Team Philippines. I'm talking about everybody in general. You know, if someone can go out there, and I know Jeff does it too. Jeff goes out there and he'll start giving cards away and packs away, and you know, it's just such a cool thing. You having such a decent, you know, this is such a cool community with the Filipinos. Imagine Filipinos that don't have much giving stuff away. I mean, if you have that kind of positive effect from people, that they do their own streams, like Kira and all these guys doing their own stream, giving away their own cards, you know, it's just like the most perfect ripple effect that you can ever dream of.
Yeah,
You know,
I
we're all going
agree.
to get rich together.
Even when I joined the game, and I've definitely given away quite a few things in my Splinterlands career, and it was because when I first joined, people gave a ton of stuff to me, and I joined the game month like a month after it started, and so they were giving me alpha cards, and they were just like, "Here you go," and throwing all these cards at me.
Take this useless card.
Yeah, because like literally, I joined their Discord and I said, "So is this game like real, guys?" And they were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll sign up then." And they said, "Yeah, buy your little $10 entry." And so I did that, and they said, "Okay, give us your account name." And cards just flooded into my account, and I was like, "Whoa," because there was such a small community back then. And a lot of those people are still here. But it always, one of the nice things about it is I think, you know, there's more people here that have gotten gifts that then go on to be givers if they stick around, because it kicks it off for them, and they're able to build up their accounts to a level where then maybe even if it's not at the same level, they're giving away something, and it's pretty you know, neat thing to see for sure.
Yeah, paying it forward.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. You know, that's humanity. You know, that's that peace, prosperity, and freedom that Aggro keeps on mentioning. You know, that's what that is. You know, but you know, there's such a big player base from third world countries. And you know, if they're still in this game, they're staying here. You know, while guys in the West are selling off their accounts. I mean, it's saying something. They stay for the community. It can't be for the money because we're in a bear market. You ain't making nothing. You know, so it's got to be for the community. So I mean, if that's not positive, then I don't know what is. I'm crypto is secondary to me. You know, I'm more of a fiat person. You know, I've got businesses and stuff like that. But you don't see this in the real world. It's a dog eat dog world. But in this particular environment, you see unconditional giving. You know, they're not doing it for, you know, they're not doing it to get something back. They're doing it because they want to do it. And I think that's great. And I think that's what's kept me in this game. You know, I keep on investing, and you know, that's just the way I am. I mean, you know, I didn't start, you know, as you know, in the beginning, and this is a perfect opportunity to catch up, and you know, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you can't bring 3, 4, 5 people with you. You know, if it's in your ability, then do it. And
yeah,
you know,
I wish it was easier to do, but you're right. Us in the West, we don't appreciate it the same way. You know, we just don't.
I mean, but then again, you see, it's a negative effect too. Like if you really venture into this, right? Because I was born in England, so I was born in a first world country. So, you know, the difference there is there's so many ways that you can leverage and borrow money and do stuff, but eventually get into debt. And this bear market would probably put you in such a downward spiral that it's unbelievable. In the Philippines, you don't get that. So all these people, they're dealing with money that they actually have. You know, so at the end of the day, when they lose it, yeah, they lose sleep, you know, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be in debt for the rest of their lives, you know what I mean? And I just think it's, you know, with the bear market in, people are going to exit, you know, all fair dues, you know, some of them were really good people, but at the end of the day, you know, there's a new coming, there's a fourth turning, it's just going to change, and those that stay are just going to be stronger, and that's it. And I love this community. I think the community is what makes a difference for me. I mean, I won't stop putting in money until this community becomes as selfish as you know, the real world, you know. So That's just my take on it. I mean, I don't know if anybody else follows, but a lot of people in this chat, Birds, Bees and Trees, he gave something away like today, yesterday, day before. Jeff opens cards, he gives stuff away. Tells is just a cool dude, So we have battles, and I know you, Steve. You used to have battles, and I played you one time in a battle, and you gave me a Rift Watcher card, So everybody's giving. So it doesn't matter how much negativity, salt, or anything like that. But at the end of the day, if we keep this feeling of passing it, paying it forward or sharing the blessings, I mean, come on, man, where are we going to be? This is where we want to be. It's the cheaper way to do something good.
I was going to ask you. Sorry, Steve. I was going to ask you, do you miss QK, man? Like now that you've changed the climate and it's an adaptation phase, whatever. But do you miss like England? Do you miss UK?
I miss some of my friends and I miss food, because I think here in the provinces, I mean, sometimes the food, variations of food is restricted, but in all fairness, I mean, whatever's missing, I just eat it in my restaurant, or I'll try my best to cook it and eat it and then share it with some of the expats that are here, But yeah, food and some of my friends. But in terms of
food, really?
Food, man? Oh,
from
dude.
UK?
Yeah, you get used to what you eat, man.
Fish and chips?
Fish and chips I miss. I actually recreated fish and chips here, but it just doesn't taste the same.
I mean, it's not hard to recreate it.
No, but then
fish and French fries.
No, it's not French fries. It's English chips.
That's yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, it's different, right? Aren't English chips usually like a big fry compared to American French fries are usually smaller?
Yeah, they're thick. They're more like wedges, and they're fried 3 times to make it crunchy on the outside, and in the inside it's all nice.
Mr. Gordon Ramsay.
But it is different than a French fry. It is.
Yeah, French fries are
it's English. It's not French.
Yeah.
Well, actually, French fries aren't even French.
No.
Well, I mean.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think food and friends. I miss some of my friends, but whoever misses me that much can come and visit me. Besides that, I don't miss the cold climate. I don't miss having to work, wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning every single day and go to work and come back and spend my money on silly stuff. And
how about the comfort? How about the lifestyle, like the advancement, like the convenience?
You see, it depends on you as a character, because at the end of the day, I feel that I've reached that time in my life where I actually look for a little bit of simplicity. Here I'm my own boss, so I work when I want, and when I calculate what I made in the UK compared to what I make here, I mean, it's relatively the same, but less taxes and cheaper living, which means more money to spend on Splinterlands, which is great, I guess. I miss the UK simply because of the food and my friends.
Oh, well.
But in terms of standards of living, I think my standard of living is better over here.
I think Steve wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, sure.
No, I didn't have anything. I just gave, when he said he had more money to spend on the game, I gave him a thumbs up was all. I wish I had more money to put into the game right now. I understand what you mean, because I'm living in America. I have a pretty good job, but I have a big mortgage. I have a kid. I have 2 kids. I have a wife. So I'm paying lots of bills. Luckily, the crises here haven't really hit us that hard, but there's just stuff that happens and everything's expensive here.
You got to put your money somewhere. You got to put your money in things of priority. You know what I mean? But here, I mean, I'm single. I have businesses that generate money, hopefully on a daily basis. And yeah, I love to play Splinterlands. It's my relaxation time after a day at work, or while I've got construction going on, I've got nothing to do but play Splinterlands, and yeah, I just go for it, and our generational gamers anyway. What more if you can make a game a business at the same time? I mean, it's fantastic to wake up in the morning and claim like funny money. Who does that?
I still get a kick to this day that I make money from playing a video game and writing blogs about it, and I make money on both of those things, and it cracks me up. And it's like, I don't care what any of you say. When I'm with all of you, I'm a paid published author and a paid video game player, and you're not if you're not doing this. And I might not be.
my mum, she said to me, "But where's your money? Where is it?" And I was like, "Mum, I just made 100. I made 100. Was it $50 on this post? But where is it?" Mum, it's there. It's in space. It's there. It's been spent on
My
something that I
wife
need.
doesn't get
But
it at all, and she didn't start
yeah,
believing this at all until during the like tail end of last bull run. I started making deposits into the bank, but it was mostly just to
yeah.
cover taxes because I knew I was going to have to pay because I made so much money off of that Gala ecosystem that I was like I
Mm.
had. So I started moving all this money into the bank, and she's like, "Where's this coming from?"
From a game I play.
And I'm like, "Remember that little farm game I play?" I've actually never
That's the
cashed
fun.
big out of Splinterlands, so we'll see if that ever happens. I cashed a little bit out. Um, my story was like I sold like one account of my three accounts when DEC was at the top, and I sold all my DEC. But I kind of kept all that money in a liquidity pool, and then when Chaos Legion came out, that I brought it all back. So it more like I just moved it to the side. I didn't really cash out.
Yeah, I haven't cashed out anything from the game, but I have cashed out from another game, and at the time paid the credit cards in a good way. So yeah, I'm overall I'm ahead. Even if it all go crashing now and like go to hell and whatever, I'm still playing with house money.
And I know this is almost like something some people would throw back at me as a bad thing, but I've been house money on Splinterlands for a long, long time. Just because I've been blocked, like I built up a Hive account with 10,000 power, or no, like 12,000 power now, just from blogging about Splinterlands, really. Um, and that account is probably worth more than actual US dollars that I put into this game. It's just
Did you get
I
the
got to see beta sell out, and I only picked up 100 packs right before the sellout, and I watched them go crazy. So when Untamed was getting ready to sell out, I knew what was going to happen, and so I tried to get 1,000 packs. I got 800, but I was selling those 800 at like $40 a pop, and that
yeah?
pretty much, I sold 600 packs of my 800 at like 30 between 30 and $40 when they were at that top, and that pretty much just funded everything else I've done in the game. So
Have you gotten anything from the Uniswap airdrops and ENS airdrops?
oh, I got the uni airdrop, and I got the what is the aggregator one that we're not allowed to use anymore as Americans? 1 inch. I got those two,
Oh,
but only
I
on one wallet. I didn't get keened into that. Use each one of these things on like 12 wallets so you can get 12 airdrops.
I got it by chance. Like I didn't even know. I like some read somewhere and I was like, oh, let me check. And then it turns out I was having like something that I sold like for 3-4 ETH at the time. And I was like, oh, okay, good, free money. I put it in the in the ecosystem. But those were crazy. The
Yeah,
ENS too, the
I held
Ethereum
the
name service.
I didn't get the ENS one because I never claimed an ENS. I still don't have one today. But the Uniswap one I held and watched it go down. So when I got the 1 inch one, I just sold it
Yeah.
immediately.
How long you
Um,
been around Mango in crypto in general? Like
August 21. Yeah, August 21 was when I joined.
in crypto in
Actually,
general,
August
like
21.
not only
Yeah,
Splinter,
actually,
but
no, well, Splinterlands was my first. Actually, you know what? I got involved. Level Up got me involved in Bitcoin. I think I put like $1,500 into Bitcoin and ETH and then XRP. But then I kind of fell asleep on that stuff. I was like, this isn't for me. This is boring. And then because you'd always see it go up and down, up and down. I'm like, no, this is kind of boring. Then Level Up said to me, no, there's a game. I was like, what kind of game? It's like, well, it's NFT. I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And he was like, well, it's a game like Magic, The Gathering. And I was like, ooh, that's like my big thing. So I just jumped in, man. And the first thing, the minute I played the game, he lent me some cards. Yeah, that was that truly is my experience to crypto. I'm not really into anything else but Splinterlands. But then from Splinterlands, it kind of ventured into, like more to do with the Hive ecosystem. First time I found out about liquidity pools, so I jumped in a bunch of them. It's been a really cool journey for me. But like I bought so many cards, man. Like when when Chaos Legion came out, I mean, I didn't open 10,000 in one go on stream, but I bought a lot of cards and a lot of packs. There's a feeling when you open packs, so it's that exciting feeling. And I spent a lot of money on potions and all this hoorah. But I definitely can't say it's house money, but it's definitely what I would consider casino money. So casino money is good for me, But there's a question here that says, what do you think about the future of Spinnerlands? I think the future's bright. I mean, because I personally think it's bright. I want to believe it's going to be bright. I'm going to continue to play this game until it's probably not available anymore, or until I probably get in that situation where I can't play. But yeah, I hope the future's bright for Splinterlands.
Yeah, for me, for the future for Splinterlands, I would say that I'm a little torn. I am a believer that most games have a life cycle and they do come to an end, even though this one has the possibility to morph into something different instead of coming to an end. If Land comes out, it's successful in the beginning, they can get to 2.0 quick enough, we can get items and spells into the game, which completely refreshes it, turns it from a pure auto battler into an auto battler with a twist, which will reinvent the game. It could extend the life of the game a long time. And then there's an outside X factor in the goals ecosystem and the Genesis League platform, which has goals and chibi dinos now, and the Infinium Arcade. If they can get some games working over there, create multiple incomes for them, that allows them not to worry about the runway of the company running out, then Splinterlands could possibly be around in some form for a very, very long time. But I do think that there's a couple headwinds against us. They do have solutions to them. There's too much DEC in the ecosystem, and they're trying everything they can to make us get it out of the ecosystem, and it's almost worked. We actually got, closest I've seen is to peg in a long time recently at over point, I think I saw 9.2 or 9.3 in a screenshot. I don't think we're there anymore. I'd have to double check where we're at currently. I think it came back down.
In the tower,
it's 8.5 now.
It's what?
8.5.
Yeah, so it came back down. So, that's a problem. And there is too many cards in this new set for the current player base. Now, that can be solved if the game grows, or if Land can soak them up. It's becoming a little bit dangerous that it's a little too hard to play and earn in this game. It's going to be hard to make people, come in, buy SPS, buy cards, earn cards that they can't use anywhere, including Land now. Don't have any real value or use to them if this thing passes. I tell them that the only thing you can earn is the token you already have to buy and stake. And that if you want to move up to the next league, you have to buy more of that token and more level up your cards. It just... I'm not saying it's an impossible sell, but it's a lot harder sell than it used to be. So I worry about that a little bit. I don't like when staked SPS to earn originally came out, I hated the idea. I really did, because I thought it takes away the earning potential and value of the cards. The only reason I came a little bit around on that is they gave us Land, which protects the value of cards, to replace it a little bit. But it's yet to be seen if that's going to work. And until Land is here and working, I don't know if that's going to work. And if it doesn't work, then the cards really have lost their long-term value to me. Like as an investment, I would never consider holding cards anymore, because they can't earn by themselves. You have to have SPS stake to earn. And that means the cards inherently by themselves now have no more earning potential. So somebody can't just buy my cards from me and earn. They have to agree to buy SPS too, which means they have to have, willing to do two things now, not just one thing. So,
well, not necessarily, because they will still earn. They might not earn maximum potential, but they will still earn. But today at the town square, there were talks about DC in circulation and whatnot. So Agi mentioned that out of the 4.5 billion that are liquid, more than 2 billion are actually in the team's wallets. So the real liquid one is, he said, around 1.8 billion. So maybe we're not that far off from actually the liquid DEC drying up. And you know that if or more like when that happens, you know that the effect supposedly will be big, because it will be the only way to get DEC will be burn SPS. And
But
yeah,
you still have to want to put DEC somewhere. You know,
yeah,
there has to.
inland.
Yeah, but I mean, I have a lot of the DEC I need for land. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So I'm only going to be buying a little bit more. I would
But
figure by
then
this point, most people aren't sitting there with no DEC for land.
but not everybody has all the DEC for land. And also at some point you're saying people are planning to start off little, like with percentage of their land or whatnot. But eventually everybody's plan, I'm thinking, an idea is to maximize at some point all their plots. So you know that
Well, I don't know
drive
about
for
everybody, but
DC.
that's my plan. But I see what you're saying.
Oh, okay, but yeah, and even those, even like, because you mentioned an example, even Gang, that he's starting, he said like with what, like 10% of his land or whatever. At some point, he will work towards getting all his land engaged, and there is not enough DC for that alone. Like for people, if everybody actually starts even putting not max level cards, not to mention at some point we'll be having to upgrade buildings as well. And we have to put DC in the liquidity pools for grain, whoever wants to sell grain and stuff like that. Then eventually when other resources are coming out, they also need to be matched with DC for the liquidity pools if somebody wants to earn passively. So I'm thinking there are a lot of things that will need DC, and knowing that DC will only be coming, or mostly will be coming from burning SPS, I think it can do a big difference on the price of SPS. And then you're talking about people that coming and buying your cars to earn. It will be different when they're earning SPS at 1.5 cents and when they're earning it, let's say 15 cents. So also when people are seeing charts going crazy, they're like, oh, I miss the initial drive, but now I'm jumping all in because buy high, sell low. And people will start coming just purely on that hype.
I hope you're right. I really do. I don't know, guys. I'm starting to think that things have been delayed a long time. I don't know how many people are going to be willing to buy DEC and stake it to put like at large levels to get their land out there. I mean, I admit tonight, Mango, you've made me a little more bullish. You reminded me that there's a community out there that's still willing to invest and buy and grow during this time. And that's a fresh thing to hear because I'm not hearing that in a lot of other places. I'm hearing a lot of complaints and I'm selling, I'm leaving, I'm quitting. So it's interesting to see. Those numbers are kind of refreshing, I suppose. But every time I think DEC is going to get near peg, it drops back down 10%. So it's hard to see it happening. And like, I don't think Rift Watchers is going to change anything. I think that's like, go ahead and switch it to DEC. But I went over the math on my stream the other day. At the current like 15% discount to pack value, you're still underwater on a pack. So the cards have gone down in value so much that even getting a 15% discount on a pack is not going to make any difference. You're still at a negative if you buy those cards. You'd be better off buying them off the market. So until the Rift Archers market can outweigh that so the discount actually becomes profitable, you're not going to have any big buyers come in. Because you'll get big arbitrage buyers coming in if they can open 1,000 or 2,000 packs and sell the cards off and turn a profit. But if they can't do that, if there's no profit there because there's no market for those cards, that's just not going to happen. So it's not going to move the needle.
Unless
It is good to see, like,
come.
I saw, a couple people saying most people need more SPS and DEC for land, and
Yeah.
Jeff needs more. But remember, land is a pie chart game, right? If all of us only go 10%, we still earn 100% of the rewards dished out to us, all running 10%. And yeah, sure, somebody might get a little greedy and go like, "Ooh, I'm going to invest a little bit so I can get more of this pie." But over time, the numbers might not even change much if we're all growing at the same pace, because
Well, I mean, since you're
that's the
planning to
way
go,
it's given out.
since you're planning to go all in, and me and Teos are your favorite lunch max, at some point we won't be anymore. So maybe yours will go down a little bit.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if you could stick around. If
Yeah,
I'm
I've
going to
been
work
around
against you, and I'm going to be dumping all the grain to make sure that you're not making any money.
Oh, I'm not going to sell grain. If that's what you thought that I was doing, no, not at all. So,
Well,
yeah,
there's no
that's
other real way to make money. I mean, that there's going to be a couple guys with gold alphas that whale out on occupied land, and they're going to take almost all the SPS. So
it's still
that's
more
going to
than I'm
be
getting at the
super
moment.
competitive. Research is the one thing that you could go after that could have a good payout in the end, but then you're just gambling on it being a good payout. We don't know. I'm probably actually going to take that gamble. I'm going to do mostly grain and research is my actual plan on land, and I'm only going to do a little bit of SPS farming on my occupied, because if it's getting 100% bonus, I might as well use that.
Yeah.
So those are the only 6 plots I plan to really have mine SPS is my 6 occupied lands. And then everything else will be grain and research. But
mine, exactly. Everything that is for me, all occupied going to SPS, all magical going to research, and as many as I need to sustain them with grain. And that's it for the beginning. I'm fine with it. But what you're saying is people will wear out and whatnot. Yeah, but you do realize that a lot of people that are getting now SPS for their land won't be getting it anymore, and it will be spread around those people that actually researching SPS. So even though you have a small percentage, I'm sure that small percentage will still be more that you're earning at the moment.
We'll see. I don't know, because it's the first time the whales have an opportunity to build up their PP and take a larger percentage from other people as well.
And they were capped, right? It passed. The proposal passed, right?
Well, it's only capped that they can only use
100,000.
one. But I mean, how many of you can put together 100,000 power on a land?
Oh no, it's not about that. It's not about us. It's about the people who actually can. Because I mean, obviously, I'm not min-maxing anything. I'm just whatever I have. I'm not buying extra cards from the cards I have. Whoever has the
So like,
biggest PP goes
let's
to the best
assume
slots.
let's assume I had 6 max gold alpha cards. I don't, but that means on my 6 lands I would have 600,000 power. So just from 6 lands, I would have 600,000 power for farming SPS just from those.
Whoa, and that's before the bonuses. So
before all the bonuses, right? And then it would double to 1.2 million. And then if I'm using legendary totems, it doubles again. And if I'm a whale with those, I probably have 6 legendary totems to whale out on this on. And so now, I'm sitting there at what, 300 times that 600,000, and I'm at 2 million points. Go ahead, come get me. How many people can even get close to that?
But think about it. How much as percentage wise from all land is occupied, and that's the only one that's getting bonus.
Every tract gets 3 guaranteed.
Okay.
So if you're a whale with a region, you're guaranteed to have 30.
Okay, and but that's 3%.
I know, but my point is that's still 30 lands where they could put 100,000 power.
Well,
and get it doubled because of the land and put, so I'm not saying what they can't do anymore is get 500,000 to 600,000 power on one land and get to these crazy numbers with like literally like 2, which would have been crazy. You could have 2 lands with do the same thing I just said I was going to do with 6, right?
Yeah.
But still, if you are, now the whale has to actually have a decent amount of occupied lands. But my point is, it's not that hard. Like, it's not like you can't get 10. Yeah, I mean, occupied lands are selling for what, $200 right now?
But that's not
150,
the
something like
point,
that.
Steve. The point is, let's say majority of the people that will mine for SPS will be using their occupied land. Okay, that's 3% of the land. Let's call it 5%. Let's say from the other plots, people might mine it on some legendary or whatnot. Let's say 10%. 10% of the land will be distributing the same amount of SPS that was distributed for 100% of the land. So you'll be getting a smaller percentage from a bigger pie because
Same pie.
now, no, it's not
Maybe
same
it.
because now everybody is getting
No, no.
whatever
See,
they have
it's the
plot.
same pie. Your theory is it's going to go to less people, so my percentage goes up of what I'm getting. Right? The pie for land is the same. It's not changing. It's
No,
just no
but
longer just
uh-huh.
going out. You have to earn it now.
The pie itself is not changing, but your piece is changing because there are fewer people that are fighting for that pie.
But
Because
it's
not
the same people, right? Because it's distributed to landholders today. Now, given there
yes,
might be some landholders that decide to not work their land, and so they forfeit their share, and so I have a chance to steal some of their share. But
and
after
also
that,
some that will make grain, and also some that will make research. So yeah, you'll be getting a lot of share of other people that are no longer getting SPS because now it will be just for those that are mining. So I think in my opinion, the difference will be worth it. We'll see, but that's
yeah,
what I
we'll
think
see.
people are.
I think it will be worth it for some, and not worth it for others, depending on how much PP you have to deploy.
Well, I think it
I
will still
don't
be
think
worth it.
if you have like a regular land and you put Chaos Legion monsters on it that are maxed out that have a, I mean, what's a Chaos Legion monster have? Sorry, I gotta switch us to smaller for a second here to look at one. So let's see. We'll even go. We'll I don't know. What do you want to look at? Like a rare? What do you think somebody would have a lot of rares, legendaries? Should we go legendaries
I
because they're
think
kind of cheap?
I think epic rewards are like rare, and epic rewards were like the mostly bought from people like for extra copies.
Okay, so we'll look at like a Jin Renova then just to see how much she has. So she has a whole 4,800 CP here. So, I
How
mean,
about Gold Forge in Renova?
all right, let's make her gold. Maybe that makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, you
I
could have
gotta
just chose
go.
it from.
Sorry, I
It's
forgot.
okay. It's okay.
Epic gold. There she is. Stats 26,000. So she's still 75% lower than that one card, that one alpha gold foil
But how much is the
card.
limit for per land?
Well, it's 100,000 per land. So I guess you're
See?
right. If you bought four of her, I guess you could put her on a land and you could match their CP from
How
their
much how
land.
much does it cost at the moment?
Yeah, to buy.
How much is a max? Well, you need what? How many do you need on a gold? Sorry, I don't buy golds often. You need 10.
Yeah.
10 for an epic.
So about $50. So $200 roughly, and that's if you could get them all at this rock bottom 5, which you wouldn't if you were buying 6 of them. It's gonna go up after you get like
Well,
one
but
or
it's not
two.
only
But
like there are like other epics as well, and yeah, it just I'm not saying it's
there's not that many epic rewards cards from the new set. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and there's not that many cards for sale. So if you don't already have this planned out,
oh yeah, I
and
think a lot of people had before.
let's
And
see,
how
there's
much how
one
much the
water,
red?
one death, one life, one dragon, one fire.
How about the gold for rares?
Yeah, rares are better. There's definitely more
No, no,
supply
I'm
here.
saying the CP of that.
Let's take a look. Got me
eleven
plus
thousand.
again. Sorry. Yeah,
So
11,000. So
so
you
yeah, you cannot max it, but you can like pretty much go halfway there and for way cheaper.
yeah, we're just gonna have a serious tough time. This is why I think a couple whales are gonna get all of it. Gosh, is there even alpha gold foils for sale? I don't even think there are. No.
Yeah, I don't think I'm picking any of them out, Steve. I think
Yeah,
I'm going to
no,
stay away
no,
from them.
nobody's even selling them on gold foil, so
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know how to value those, but at this point, because there's none for sale. But
Woody says that CP and PP is not the same. Wasn't it the same?
this is 252,000. I thought it was. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It's been a while since I've read that book. I probably should read it
Yeah, I
again,
don't
though.
remember as well, but like I have somehow thought that the CP. Oh, just go to Pick Monsters, they have the PP there as well.
Yeah, it's on there. But I think it was times 10. If you've got an alpha or a beta, you get times 10. No, times 10 for an alpha, times 5 for a beta on the lamp. But
Yeah,
I think it was
and
the
times
same. So I
two
think
for Untamed.
yeah,
No, we're
times 2
just
for an
talking
alpha.
about what is like how much does it
Best card
cost actually to put the 100,000, because obviously if you're buying now, you won't be buying gold for alphas and betas,
I
especially.
like your strategy though, man. I like your strategy because looking at those gold foil epics, for example, I think is actually quite a good play. Because if you can pick one up for $50, I mean, that's a pretty decent way of looking at it. I mean, to fund my plots, I'll probably go and do that. I'll probably scan out I'll make sure that I've got land that needs life cards and buy all the Renovas or
Let's
the
see.
was it Benari Crystal Smith or something.
How do I do PP?
So I got it here. Let me just see. In the general view, there is just go buy reward gold foil
Ah, maybe
vampire
here.
bat.
Price BCX, price ascending card ID. No, that's that.
I have to log in my account. You can see it in your account, the ones that are in your account. 1 second.
I know there's a way to do it. I haven't looked at this in a while. Nope, it's not under the rent.
Yeah, when you go to my cards, it's showing CP and PP. So I just need to sort gold foil, rewards.
Yeah, somebody's saying a gold foil legendary is 2,500 per BCX, and a gold foil epic is 600.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which
Gold
sounds
foil
more
is
accurate. So you're right. It wasn't.
yeah.
It's not CP. It's
Yeah.
there's different numbers, and then there's bonuses depending on set. So the thing is that the gold foil epic card gets a times 10 bonus.
6,000.
So it's 6,000 instead of 600.
6,000. Yeah.
So it's 10x better. So you can't match it with with 5 cards because it's one card is 10 times better. Not if you're using new cards. If you're
But yeah,
using
my
untamed
point.
cards, you can match one card, but that's why they capped it, because
Yeah.
they were going to get too high. Because if you do gold foil legendary, it's I think it's 100,000 power all by itself, because I think they're 10,000
So it says gold foil legendary is 2,500
per
PP
BCX.
BCX. So max
So
is 10,000.
10,000 times 10, 100,000
Yeah.
for that one card. And so they capped it at 100,000 because theoretically you could have put a gold foil Rooney and them, and you'd be at over 500. You'd be at like 550,000 CP on that one land, and then you triple it up with it being a either being on and occupied with. You could quadruple it up if you had a legendary occupied, because you can get 100 for the legendary, 100 for the occupied, 100 for the legendary tower, and
and the title and the
And
runing
the titles and the Rooney, and so literally you could have like 2 million
and
PP
the
coming from one.
totems.
For there, you could have and the totem. You could have well over 2 million PP coming from one land, and that they realized that was going to be a problem. So now they limited it down to 100,000. So even if you had the best thing that you could have, it's only going to get to like 500,000, which is what one of those lands would have been without any bonuses. Just 5 legendary. Given not that many people have 5 legendary max gold alpha cards, but a couple
Yeah,
guys do. A couple guys do.
but what I'm saying is, yeah, because not all land will be involved in mining SPS, the ones that actually are, even if you have a small PP, I mean, yeah, don't take it personal. I'm not saying that
Yeah,
small PP, but even if you have a small PP, it won't affect you because that much because just fewer people will be fighting over the pot, and there is some capping for the uber whales. They cannot well max. I mean, they can well to a certain degree, and that's it. And so I'm just thinking that at least in the beginning, it will be profitable mining SPS. But just as I said, my occupied goals for SPS, my magic goals for research, as many plots I need for grain to sustain them, and that's it for the time, like for the beginning at least. Then hopefully one day they implement delegating of land, so I can delegate here and there some of my land, so people work and I get the tax, and then that's it.
oh, cool. Woody's
Yeah,
in
that's
my
what we're
region. I just found out. Yeah, like looking at my colored collection, my most powerful cards are 15,000 PP, and then I have a lot like in the 7,000 and 5,000 and 6,000 ranges because these are like the max level like beta cards that I have. Um, and then a decent amount of like beta legendaries that have like 3,000 and 4,000 PP, which is still going to be hard to match with anything new. Um, and then some of these I'll combine over time to try to max them out. But I haven't been buying a lot of cards at this point, mostly because I've been trying to work on my DEC stack. So that's where I am. I have to get another like 3 million DEC, which isn't that much money, but it's I'm doing it. I'm not rushing yet because we still don't even have an official date on when we can start doing this. So I've been slowly building up that pool from everything I can before I bring in any outside money to finish it off.
Oh, see, somebody bought a keep in your region.
Yeah, well, because Gene Pool was part of our region,
Yeah,
and then he sold everything, and I don't know if
yeah.
he told us why. I didn't go and ask, so I don't know. Maybe he told somebody else, but he got super lucky too. He got some good stuff. I'm surprised. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if anybody
Yep.
does, but
It's still a
we've been.
mystery.
Oh, it's been a little bit over 2 hours. Normally, I wanted us to
Okay.
keep these closer to an hour. We had a guest, so I let us go way over again. It's getting kind of late here, and I got to kind of wrap up if I'm going to get this posted on Hive and everything. Um, any
Sure.
final thoughts? You want to start? Who wants to start?
I can, since I'm like the most left or whatever, it's like the first one on the screen. Yeah, just thank you guys for spending the last 2 and something hours with us. And it was very entertaining to talk with you guys, Steve and Mango. I enjoyed being part of the conversation, and overall, my sentiment, bullish, man. Ride or die.
Well, firstly, just like to say thank you to Baby Omega and Steve for inviting me to come and chat on here. It's been a very interesting and entertaining conversation, and I'm very happy to have been part of it today. And it's funny, we were talking about land. Land's not really my thing, but you know what? Despite all the saltiness in the ecosystem, just the way the talk was going back and forward. There were so many strategies, analysis, and everything like that. So much, chat coming from the chat group and stuff like that. It shows us so much positivity within this ecosystem, so much community. So it's quite hard not to be bullish, because if everybody was not saying anything, shouting frustration all the time, that's when I'd be a little bit scared. I'd be like, oh, I've made the wrong decision. But I don't know, I see everyone looking forward to land, regardless, goods or bads that's coming out of and hearsays and stuff like that. But I see everyone actually in a positive direction. So I see you all preparing for land, and that's what I see from an external perspective. You're coming up with different strategies. You're finding the best way to optimize your investments. So how can you say that it's not bullish? But yeah, thank you very much for having me, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys. And I hope we can do it again.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun having both of you here with me tonight. Baby Omega, we're obviously always here. We're definitely going to be looking to have more guests in the future for anybody that's watching. Tell people to come hang out with us. Once again, make sure you give MangoMayhem a follow on Hive, and that you think about supporting the things he's doing there to grow the community, because that's pretty exciting. Overall, I would say I'm optimistic. I don't know how bullish I am yet, because I really haven't seen them start to turn things around. But if they do, I'll get bullish again. The only thing that's holding me back is we have seen some key voices kind of either expand what they talk about, step back from the game, and you're seeing more and more money grab moves from the team. And those kind of things worry me a little bit. I don't see why the discussion on whether or not soulbound cards should be allowed on land had to turn into, well, if you want to use them, you have to pay us. It should have just been a yes or no question in my mind. If they said, should they be used, and I could get behind voting no, if you made a good argument that they would hurt the ecosystem. I can't make a good argument that you're going to force me to pay for something I already earned by playing the game. So these kind of things worry me a tiny bit. But, I'm going to end it there. Thanks for hanging out with us. And Tails will be over on Twitch playing Stella Fantasy and probably commenting a little bit about what we said. No, I don't know. Maybe not. Thanks, guys. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Peace, guys.